Hi everybody, I'm Joseph Sarosy. I'm the co-author of How to Tell Stories to Children, and I want to share with you a structure of how to tell a story with your children. That's kind of the method that I teach. It's about you connecting with your kids. So what I'm sharing here is just an example. And I'm going to use, it was Halloween recently and we got Thanksgiving coming up, so I'm going to use the example of this pumpkin, okay? The method that my partner Silke and I teach, we call it the storytelling loop. And here's what it looks like. You start with something real. In this case, it's physical. Boy, that has a nice sound, doesn't it? And you're looking for something that is recognizable to your child, to yourself as well, but particularly to your child. So if you had Halloween recently and maybe you carved a jack-o'-lantern, that's the story that I'm going for here. So I'm going to bring this kind of into my story, and this has a beautiful little benefit because when you're maybe if you're shy about telling stories, or maybe you're just beginning, or you're a little uncertain of yourself. I'm going to put this down. It's heavy. That when you tell a story and this pumpkin is like our door into the story, and when your child recognizes that thing, it tends to draw their attraction in. It's like they remember it, and it tends to they feel seen, they feel acknowledged in it. They're like, what is going to happen here? So I'm taking something real and I'm going to pull it into a story. So this little story is about, it's a little grasshopper at the end of the season. And actually the day after Halloween, it was climbing along your front porch and it came across this jack-o'-lantern. And when it looked inside, it noticed that the top had been cut and had been popped open. And the grasshopper was wondering a little bit about who had opened that pumpkin and left it there. And it crawled in looking for some food that might have been left inside, found some seeds, but the grasshopper wasn't looking for seeds. And it had recently snowed. It just snowed here the other day. And when that snow melted, the grasshopper that had climbed inside found itself on the porch. And as the snow trickled off the porch, it just lifted that pumpkin right up into the water, and it started floating down the stream. Now, I don't know if you ever looked out in the street when the snow or the rain is running, and there sometimes is a little, there's almost like a little river right against the curb, and there was this grasshopper in this jack-o'-lantern riding down the little stream along the street. Well, you probably have seen sometimes those little streams, they go right into a storm drain. So there goes the grasshopper down into the storm drain. And now I'm going to pause for a second and ask you, as you're listening, what do you picture? What's happening to that grasshopper as it plunges into this darkness? Is there an adventure that you can imagine this grasshopper going on? I'm going to invite you to feel into that story. This is just an example, okay? When you tell a story like this, the child recognizes this element from their own life. It can be very short, it can be very brief, a few minutes, it can be longer, it can be quite an adventure. The final part of the storytelling loop is that when the story is finished, right? We started with something real. We're bringing it into our element of story, and when it finishes and kind of comes back around, we have a new relationship to this real thing, right? Your child's going to see it. It's going to see the jack-o'-lantern. It's not necessarily a story about that specific jack-o'-lantern, but maybe that story caught his or her mind, their attention. And when they walk out the door, they go, right? And that little is all we need. And sometimes it turns into a great adventure, because sometimes stories can turn into a realm of play. Your child might want to take that old jack-o'-lantern that's starting to fade and crumble and look all weird, and take it into the backyard or into the house or wherever it might be. And they have this story now in their mind. It's like you've given them a way of engaging and playing. Okay, so that's the storytelling loop. There are many ways that you can enter this story world. Um, you can use a physical object like this. It could be a toy, it could be a stick, it could be something that you've encountered, but it's something that your child recognizes. You take that into this creative story and you have a new relationship to it and that's the storytelling loop. I encourage you to try it today.